After the divorce, my career went smoothly, and I quickly rose to prominence. When my ex-wife heard about it, she knocked on my door in anger. "If you don't agree to remarry, I will sue you for rape." As soon as she opened her mouth, it was an overlord treaty that even Li Hongzhang dared not sign. I sighed and called the police to report myself for soliciting prostitution. I opened my eyes in a daze and saw my ex-wife in person sitting in front of the dressing table, putting on her beautiful makeup. My eyes were dry and my head was splitting. My mind was blank, and I didn't remember what happened last night at all. Yesterday, my ex-wife came to my house with a very humble attitude and said with tears in her eyes that she wanted to discuss the child support for our daughter. When we divorced, she disliked that I earned too little and resolutely took our daughter and left this home. 3 years after the divorce, I have been holding back my temper, working hard, and step by step to where I am now. General manager of the company, with an annual income of 800,000. Although not particularly outstanding, it is enough to make me proud. When my ex-wife had a complicated expression and toasted me with the cup in both hands, I felt so happy. But I didn't expect that I fell asleep directly after drinking this glass of wine. When I woke up again, it was already the next day. "Wake up. Don't pretend to be asleep when you wake up," my ex-wife said in a light tone, and yesterday's humbleness seemed like a dream to me. "Lu Rian, this is..." I sat up with a headache, trying to figure out what happened. Lu Rian turned her head and looked at me with a playful look in her eyes. I felt something was wrong, but I didn't know what she was up to. Lu Rian said it lightly. "Did you see a piece of news a few days ago?" "What news?" "Here, take a look." Lu Rian handed me the phone. I glanced at it, and my face couldn't help but become gloomy. To summarize the news in one sentence, the fiancée sued her fiancé in court because the man's family didn't want to give more names to the betrothal gifts and RV. The man didn't agree to the woman's conditions and was sentenced to 3 years. My eyes went dark, and when I looked up, I saw her half-smiled eyes, and my heart instantly fell into an ice cave. I calmed down. Why did I look at this? I won't beat around the bush. Lu Rian raised her chin. "I came back quickly now, just to remarry you. Don't you make 800,000 yuan a year now? More than 60,000 yuan a month. Why don't you remarry? I think you can't control so much money, and it's not certain that this money is in your hands. I'm not at ease if you give it to others. After all, this money will belong to the children in the future, so it's better to put it with me. I'm more at ease." I almost fainted from anger. "You're dreaming. Why don't you guess what this is?" Lu Rian was not annoyed and raised her clothes calmly. "Do you think this thing can sentence you for forcing women's will?" My heart instantly felt like it was falling into an ice cave. Forcing a woman's will, isn't that rape? I tried to keep myself calm. It was absolutely impossible for me to have sex in the state I was in yesterday. "Don't frame me." "Yes." Lu Rian's tone was quite regretful. "The drug seller didn't tell me the dosage, so I put a little too much." I looked hopeful, but her next sentence broke all my fantasies. "But what impact would that have? I have already got your body fluids." "That's right." She lifted her clothes, and her body was already bruised and purple. "Add to that, do you think it's enough to remarry? What do you want to say?" My breathing stagnated, and my blood turned cold. Of course I know that this is all she used to frame me, and maybe the police will know it, but so what? The police handle cases with evidence, and these will only be disadvantageous to me. A tooth mark was bitten on my lower lip, and I forced myself to resist the urge to rush over and beat her up. Doing so will only make me more passive. If you don't consider me, you should also consider your daughter. If I really go to jail, what will she do, and how will her classmates look at her? I looked at her with little hope. "This is not something you should worry about." Lu Rian pulled out a camera from the bedside table and said with emotion, "You should be glad that I drugged too much. The method I prepared will not be used. There are more requirements than this." My head was buzzing and my whole body was trembling. If she really succeeded yesterday, I would be really finished. I haven't finished my request yet, and you don't have this expression. Although there is no video evidence, it is enough to betray you. According to Article 236 of the Criminal Law of the People's Republic of my country, as long as a woman is forced to have a relationship, she can be sentenced to more than 3 years, but less than 10 years. Let alone our divorce. Even if there is no divorce, the law can sentence you to rape. Think about it carefully. Without considering your current career, just think about your parents. Do you really want to go your own way? When you go in, Whoever mentions you will despise you and call you a rapist. Your parents will be poked in the spine and can't raise their heads in front of the neighbors. Can you bear it? It should be said that Lu Ruyan is really prepared. As long as there is my body fluid on her underwear, whether it is done by me or her, there is basically no escape, and there is a 90% chance that she will be sentenced. Unless I can prove myself with evidence. By the way, you don't have to think about testing for drugs. After a night, nothing can be detected. Lu Ruyan seemed to have seen through my thoughts and blocked my retreat with one sentence. Yes, how could she make such a low-level mistake when she was so well prepared? I loosened my clenched fist and couldn't help laughing. By the way, although I didn't record the video, I have an audio clip here. Listen to it. Lu Ruyan turned on her phone and played an audio clip. Wang Hai. I'm sorry, I was wrong. I was wrong, don't hit me. Bang. Oh, don't do this, we're divorced. Don't come in, The recording stopped abruptly, very briefly. There was basically only Lu Ruyan's scream. The only sound I made was the bang. And that sound was probably the sound of me falling on the table after I drank the wine she handed me and lost consciousness. But it didn't sound like that in the recording. Combined with her words, it was as if I slapped the table hard, and then I was going to force her. It perfectly confirmed the body fluids and the bruises on her body. No, you have such means, but it is a waste of talent to use it on me. Just go to the national husband. Just a little extortion is enough for you for most of your life. What do you want to do? Even if I hate it 1,000 times and am unwilling to accept it, I can only bite my teeth and swallow it now. I tried my best, but I couldn't see any hope of breaking the situation. At this time, I was like meat on the chopping board, at the mercy of others. The eyes of my ex-wife were like a poisonous scorpion. I don't have any requirements after remarriage, just simple small requirements. Listen to it. First of all, you give me a betrothal gift of 680,000. I don't ask you for more, and I don't want 1 million, 2 million, or 360,000. Just let you show your intention to prove that you have me in your heart and that you still care about me. I suspected that I was still dreaming and pinched my arm hard. It's obviously painful. Why haven't you woken up yet? 680,000 yuan, second marriage, big sister, go out and ask around. There's no such thing. I'm not laughing or crying. Others are others. This represents how much you value me. She sneered and continued. And in the future, all your money will be handed over to me, and the family funds will still be entirely controlled by me. You don't have any right to mobilize them. If you want to do something, just tell me in advance. Do you hear me? I was so angry that I laughed. So I'm a pure black slave in the 19th century. Another point is that 800,000 yuan is just more than 60,000 yuan a month. Don't ask me what I do with it, because I will give living expenses to my brother and my parents regularly. Lu Ruyan said it very naturally, because you also know that my brother has no job and my parents are so old. They have to rely on me for support, so your more than 60,000 yuan a month will definitely be more than enough for them to spend. In the future, don't ask me where my money went, and don't ask me if I saved money this month. I am the one who keeps and controls the money. I have the right to allocate the money. It has nothing to do with you. I was too lazy to talk. I just pulled the corner of my mouth to signal her to continue. In addition, if my brother wants to buy a car or change a car, the money will have to come from our family. Because you earn so much now, you are also able to afford the money to change my brother's car. So since you have the ability, you should help my brother. In case my brother gets rich in the future, he will also help us. I rolled my eyes. Your brother is more than 30 years old and still living off his parents. It's better to believe that a sow can climb a tree than to believe that he will get rich. Lu Ruyan turned a deaf ear to my sarcasm and just counted on her fingers. The most important point now is that your father and mother have a pension of more than 10,000 yuan every month. What do you mean? My eyes were stern. When the pension is paid, they will give it to me and deposit it into my account. I even thought I was hallucinating for a while, pointing at her in disbelief. Do you know what you were talking about? I told you that it's hard to find me even with a lantern. You know that. Lu Ruyan slammed the table suddenly. She was angry. You must be lucky to find a woman like me, who is filial, sensible, family-oriented, and good at managing the household. I couldn't help it, so I picked up the lamp on the bedside table and smashed it. She turned her head and dodged. Get out. Anger filled every pore of my body. Get out. Wang Hai. Don't let anger disperse your reason. Lu Ruyan got up slowly. See you at the Civil Affairs Bureau at 3 o'clock this afternoon, otherwise you know the consequences. After she left, I went to the hospital immediately. Sure enough, no chemical components were extracted from my blood. I contacted a lawyer without stopping. This situation is very difficult. The lawyer sighed. The body fluids and bruises, and you have no evidence. As long as she insists that you had sex with her after drinking, she was forced. You can't win at all. We were husband and wife before. We were husband and wife. I emphasize this point. Not to mention that we were husband and wife before. Even if we were real husband and wife, there is still the saying of marital rape. The lawyer shook his head. If you don't have evidence to prove yourself, then I suggest you communicate with her properly. Otherwise, it may be disadvantageous to you. Is there really nothing you can do to her? I am not willing to accept it. She is blackmailing me nakedly. The lawyer remained silent. Damn it. I was pale and leaned weakly on the chair. I felt that the world turned gray in an instant. Thank you, lawyer. I will pay the money. I stood up and smiled bitterly. When the transfer was completed and I was about to leave, my eyes suddenly fixed, and then my feet stopped moving. In the lawyer's puzzled eyes, I looked at the account balance in the bank's text message, and a smile slowly appeared on my face. Opening the transfer record on WeChat, I smiled even more brightly. What's wrong with you? The lawyer couldn't help but speak. I smiled and shook my head. It was nothing. I seemed to have found a way to break the impasse. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I showed up at the door of the Civil Affairs Bureau on time. At this time, she couldn't wait any longer. Oh, you're quite punctual. I thought you wouldn't come, and I almost called the police. Lu Ruyan raised her mobile phone in a protest. I understand that this is her threat to me. Lu Ruyan, do you want to talk again? With the method to break the impasse in hand, I'm not panicking at all. Lu Ruyan raised her eyebrows, obviously not expecting my attitude. What should I talk about? I tell you, you have to meet all my conditions, otherwise there is nothing to talk about. Remarriage is fine. My tone was calm, but we are just a couple on the surface, and you don't even have to think about other conditions. Is your brain full of shit? Lu Ruyan laughed angrily. Who wants your body if I remarry you? I'll give you 3 minutes to think about it. If you don't meet my conditions, you can go in. I suddenly felt that she was so strange. 7 years ago, you were still a teacher. At that time, you smiled and told me that as long as you could live a happy and peaceful life in the future, you would be very satisfied. You first became someone else's mistress, and then set up a trap for me. What's wrong with you? Wang Hai, do you find these interesting? Lu Ruyan suddenly became hysterical. Yes, I am a teacher without a regular position. I am not worthy of you. Is there any problem with wanting more? Why did I become someone else's mistress? It's because you are not motivated and not motivated. What can I do? What can I do? These words are so absurd that I don't know what to say for a while. Then you can keep being a mistress. Didn't I let you go free? He lied to me. She gritted her teeth. The old man said that he would divorce his wife and marry me. In the end, I found out that he was a gigolo. He lied to me for 3 years. 3 years. Okay, don't waste time. She wiped her eyes and raised her phone again. It depends on your choice whether to agree to my conditions or go in. Absurd, heartbroken, angry. Complex emotions swirled in my heart, and I couldn't help asking her, so, you lied to me from the beginning. She looked away, not looking at me, and not speaking. Sometimes, asking without answering is also an answer. Countless dead silences surged in my heart again. You think about being with your pillow and growing old with her, but she is silently calculating you in her heart, without emotion, purely rational. No, it's animal nature. There is nothing more sad than a dead heart. I must not let such a person succeed. I exhaled, and I thought about it. Let's go. Go in and get the certificate. Lu Ruyan didn't doubt him, and pulled me to go in. After all, losing part of the economy and going in to squat, a fool would know which one to choose. But I pushed her hand away, and then in her shocked and puzzled eyes, I slowly said, let's call the police. Are you crazy? Lu Ruyan was shocked. You would rather go in and squat than pay money to settle the matter. She shouted, what are you afraid of? We still have a daughter after all. I'm not going to cheat you. I shook my head, indicating that she had misunderstood. I didn't mean to call the police, but to report myself for soliciting prostitution. She frowned, obviously not understanding what I meant. Soliciting prostitution. You are disgusting. Don't worry, I still know some sense. I won't pursue this point. Look, Some people have no bottom line. They are obviously a mistress, but they say that others solicit prostitution is disgusting. I am too lazy to talk nonsense. What I mean is, I prostitute you. Yours, understand. You prostitute me. Lu Rian was stunned at first, and then she started to curse directly. Do you still have shame? You are also educated. Even if you want to disgust me, you don't have to be so cheap. I was also stunned, and then smiled in my heart. With such an IQ, it is likely that this situation is not what she thought. I was worried for a long time, thinking that she would not make a sound, but it turned out that someone had a trick. Scared the baby. What I mean is, I drank too much last night, thinking to relax, and then give you money to make me feel comfortable, understand? I sighed and told her more clearly that the money I transferred to you was my prostitution fee. I reported myself as a prostitute. All your so-called evidence is invalid. All I need to pay is 7 days of detention and a fine of 5,000 yuan. At this point, Lu Ruyan, no matter how dumb she is, will react. You. Her face was livid, and she pointed at me but couldn't say a word. Of course she knew that the transfer I was talking about was the money she used my phone to operate last night. But she transferred it secretly, which resulted in her being unable to speak out her bitterness. By the way, why don't you call the police too, both of us together? I raised my phone and smiled brightly and sincerely. Rape and prostitution can be two different things. Just when my ex-wife looked anxious, a familiar voice sounded from not far away. It was my ex-mother-in-law. She glanced at her daughter with a look of disappointment, and then got straight to the point. Legally, these two charges can be established at the same time. You should understand. I said, how come she suddenly has such means? I was too lazy to waste time talking to her, so I just told her what your conditions are. I guessed that my ex-wife had someone behind the scenes to help her. I was prepared for this situation. Her mother didn't hesitate, and said that she would remarry and use the income from the years since the divorce to buy a house for Rian, and the income after marriage would be kept by Rian. You think I'm a sucker? I sneered and said, why don't I report myself to the police for soliciting prostitution, and your daughter should also call the police and let the police handle this matter. Her mother seemed to be very shrewd, and said with a smile, Xiao Wang, everything can be negotiated. The ancients said that family disgrace should not be made public, so show some manliness. Nowadays, any house costs 1 or 2 million, and I can't afford so much money that I shook my head, and who knows if she will give it to me again in the future, so I will do this. The money and goods are cleared, you don't have to worry about this. Her mother looked very serious. I guarantee with my personality that as long as you agree to the conditions, nothing will happen, and she will live a good life with you in the future. You treat me like a 3-year-old child. I glanced at her mother indifferently. How about this? Let's take a step back. Now Rian and I will go in to get the marriage certificate. I will buy her a house. The house will be in our names, and it will be considered common property. I continued, plus after marriage, half of my salary will actually be hers. This is my last bottom line. Otherwise we will call the police. Her mother looked at me for a while without saying a word and fell into deep thought. She was anxious. No, this way I can only get half, and the remaining half is not mine, Mom. I laughed sarcastically. You want money. You won't earn it yourself, and you won't continue to find someone to be a mistress. Don't be too greedy. The worst-case scenario is that both sides will die, and our land is not big. You don't want your family to be looked down upon by all relatives and friends. Sure enough, her mother nodded the next second. I agreed, and let's do it. After the negotiation, we went in to get the marriage certificate. At this point, there was nothing glorious about it. So her mother just said to set up a few tables in the hotel and let relatives and friends forget about it. I nodded and left with a smile. Want to get my money. Maybe in the next life. From the beginning, except for the card I showed to break the deadlock, everything else I said was false. Even the last word of retreat was a delaying tactic. My real purpose is to get married. As I said, after marriage, there is no individual, only the community of husband and wife. It's just that between husband and wife, there are not only common property, but also common debts. What I have to do is to find a way to get into crazy debt after marriage. In the end, I can owe 18 million, and I don't have to pay back my share. As for how to do it, it's also very simple. There is a famous saying in the stock market. If you want to make money in this industry, it is as difficult as ascending to heaven. But if you want to lose money, it is easy. Find a trustworthy person, open a short position in the stock market, and you can lose as much as you want. After just a few operations, you can lose so much that even your own mother can't recognize it. However, there is a prerequisite for the joint debt of the couple. That is, both the husband and wife know how to spend the money and agree. Whether it is investment, stocks, or financial management, it is the same. But is this still a problem? I was silently calculating in my heart, but a teasing voice came from not far away. Oh, your eyes are so affectionate. Can't you be thinking about others all the time in your heart? It was none other than my childhood friend Wang Xiaohua. However, he has a special identity, a stock market broker. I took the honktashin he handed over and rolled my eyes. With this order, you will make at least 1 or 200,000, and you let me take this. Wang Xiaohua held his head with both hands and smiled. Honktashin is strong, and the others are like those smoked by women, soft. I have long been accustomed to his stinginess. I got straight to the point and asked you how many short positions you can make. Everyone can do short orders, and the operation is not uncommon, but the legal risks are very high. I don't want to become a tool for a policeman to appreciate his value just after I vent my anger. The reason I asked this question was to see how much safe quota he had in his hand. Wang Xiaohua's tone was quite confident. Don't worry, I asked the boss for some more quota, 20 million. Give me a commission of 3% after the matter is completed, and you will have half of it at that time. I nodded, puffed out a cloud of smoke, and said, 10 million. Even if it is based on normal interest. According to normal interest, it will be about 5 million interest in 10 years, which is equivalent to more than 120,000 per month, which is still too cheap for her. Oh, the former love saint can actually do such a black hand now. This kind of mentality really should pull you into the industry. Although Wang Xiaohua teased, his tone was quite agreeable. At that time, I will play the role of a nouveau riche, and I guarantee that the things on my body are more real than one another. As long as she has the kind of personality you said, then I guarantee that I can make her fall for it. I didn't say anything, but just puffed out a cloud of smoke. That's right. He handed me a piece of paper with several addresses and contact information. We have people in these real estate projects. Contact them before viewing the houses. I am a little worried. I can't sign a formal bank loan. I don't want a formal one. Don't worry, I guarantee that the high-interest loan you sign will be beyond your imagination. Wang Xiaohua looked into the distance and smiled. If you want to short a position in the future and take out a high-interest loan with legal effect, you can find me. I guarantee that the interest rate is a pit, but there is nothing wrong with the official side. That's right, high-interest loan. The game I set up not only makes her bear a high debt, but also makes her bear high-interest loans. The kind that can never be paid off. I think this is good. Whether it is the house type or the geographical location, it is excellent. The mother-in-law winked at Lu Ruyin while talking, and she immediately handed me a bottle of water. I spread my hands indifferently. Everything is fine. As long as you think it is good, I will buy it if it is good. How about this one? Lu Ruyin pointed to a larger house, which had better lighting and was closer to the school and shopping mall. Her voice trembled slightly, not knowing whether it was because of excitement or nervousness. Okay, let's book this place. I don't need to look at it. Just make the decision. This kind of common property of the couple. Anyway, I won't be in debt in the end. It doesn't matter. The mother and daughter smiled at each other, and then hurriedly took me to sign the contract. I nodded repeatedly to the various preferential activities proposed by the salesman. Until he talked about buying a house with a loan, my eyes lit up. Brother, there is no problem buying a house with a loan, but the current interest rate is relatively high. The salesman's acting skills are good, and he immediately slapped his thigh to make the decision. But don't worry, if you can sign the contract today, I can work hard to get the lowest discount for you. What are you talking about? We glared at each other. Do you think I look like someone who is short of money? Don't look down on people here. Bring the contract. Now, sign it immediately. The mother and daughter didn't notice anything unusual, just thought I was still angry about the past. After all, I was cheated so badly. Some abnormal behavior is normal. No matter how they look at me, the sales guy's eyes are already filled with deep emotion. He wiped his tears and expressed his true feelings. Brother, you treat me better than my own brother. If you need a house in the future, just come to me. Even if I'm squatting, I'll cut it off immediately. Seeing that the young man was quite excited, Lu Ruyin said proudly, "Oh, this is the new house my husband bought for me." He instantly understood that it turned out that his brother and sister-in-law were going to get married. It was really a perfect match, a talented man and a beautiful woman. I wish you a happy marriage here. In one sentence, I was so angry that I almost turned the table and left. This child doesn't look young anymore. Why does he always say depressing words? As soon as the house issue was resolved, they were relieved instantly. When it was night, Lu Ruyan specially changed into a very exciting uniform. When I just got home, she hugged me excitedly. Husband, I want it. That level of lewdness. I even suspected that I was possessed by Daniel Wu. I pushed her away. What evidence did she want to use to hold me back this time? It couldn't be the same old thing. Her face turned blue and purple, and she said softly, Honey, I'm not that kind of person. I didn't stop being sarcastic. Last time it was my finance. What do you fancy this time? Look at how much my 2 old kidneys can be sold for. Just take them. She suppressed her anger and put on a fake smile. Oh, honey, don't be angry. Being angry is bad for your health. I went straight into the bathroom, not wanting to look at her anymore. My childhood friend is coming to our house for dinner tomorrow. Remember to prepare it and don't embarrass yourself. She snorted coldly. Your childhood friend is not my childhood friend. It's none of my business. Oh, okay. This kid made more than 10 million last year, and he said he would take me with him. Honey, what are you talking about? Your childhood friend is my brother. I'll go buy groceries now. Drama is like life, one song after another. The next day, she not only cooked a table of delicious food, but also brought her parents over. I sneered inwardly, and then informed Wang Xiaohua that it was time for him to go on stage. Soon, the door of the house was slammed. When I opened the door, I was a little startled by this guy. Rustic. Really too rustic. The gold chain on his neck weighs about 7 or 8 kilograms, and it must be very powerful to swing his neck. There are 10 fingers on his hand. 5 on the left are gold rings, and 5 on the right are jade wrenches. The gold bracelet on his wrist is so heavy that it can crush a person to death. After taking off his sunglasses, he looked me up and down and said disdainfully, No, you guy, you are like this now. Then he pushed me away, sat on the sofa, and said with a sly smile, Call me Dad. Dad will help you get rich. Like. Too fucking like. This is simply the image of a nouveau riche, vividly interpreted. I smiled and replied in the same tone, You son of a bitch, with your character, you want me to call you Dad. Maybe in the next life. Okay, I won't talk to you anymore. Wang Xiaohua picked up the tea in front of him and drank it all. He shouted at Lu Ruyan, who had just come out of the kitchen. Didn't you see that the tea in the cup was empty? What are you standing there for? Come and pour water. For a moment, the whole family was stunned. At the signal of her mother-in-law, Lu Ruyan bent down and poured water like a nanny. I resisted the pleasure in my heart. What do you say when you come back this time? Hee hee, of course you are here to show off. He opened the crocodile bag, which was full of red banknotes, and then poured them all on the table. I heard that you were getting married again. I didn't have time to give you a gift last time, so I will give you all this time. The thick stacks of dozens of banknotes made their eyes stare straight. The father-in-law on the side couldn't help it, and swallowed his saliva and was about to start. Wang Xiaohua slapped him in the face. You old thing, my brother asked you to be a nanny, but you two didn't work, and you wanted to turn the tables. You are the one who turned against me. The father-in-law covered his red face and stood there in a daze. I lowered my head, afraid of accidentally laughing out loud. Cough, cough, cough. This is my father-in-law. That is my mother-in-law. Wang Xiaohua instantly put on a look of regret. Oh, I am so sorry. I thought you were the nanny hired by my brother. It turned out to be his father-in-law and mother-in-law. I am so sorry. Don't reach out and take other people's things in the future, otherwise you will get slapped. I almost gritted my teeth to stop laughing. The whole family was shocked by the image of this nouveau riche, and at this time, they just didn't say a harsh word. In fact, except for the top banknote, the banknotes below are all fake. Of course, they can't let others touch them. I pretended to be polite. Why? You came back to show off to me. Then get out of here. How can it be possible? Wang Xiaohua and I are in a good match, and your broken manager will be at most a middle-class person for a lifetime. What's the point? Why not work with me? I guarantee that you will earn more in a month than you can in a year. In an instant, I felt 6 burning eyes. I pretended to refuse. Hey, I can't do it. I haven't played this thing, forget it. Wang Xiaohua pretended to be furious. What? Are you afraid that I, your childhood friend, will cheat you? Come on, let's sign the contract now, and if you lose anything, it will be on my head, okay? The more he said, the more I pretended to refuse. Until finally, his family couldn't bear it anymore, and took turns to persuade me to look at the money. Seeing them like this, I felt so happy. Being sold and having to help others count money. That's probably what it means. As soon as he left, Lu Ruyan became even more anxious. 1 month is your annual salary, and it's so good to work in that crappy class. I pretended to be moved and entangled, saying that I was afraid of losing money. Lu Ruyan was very generous and said directly that she didn't want the money that should be divided with her after marriage, just as a share of support for me. Really, if killing is not against the law, I will definitely let her know what the 10 most cruel punishments in China are. As expected, after she spent a night reading The Circle of Friends carefully edited by my childhood friend, I got what I wanted. Husband, just do it boldly. If you don't have enough money, you can think of a way. At most, you can borrow some money. You can't be suffocated by shit. Looking at the WeChat chat records, I felt relieved. The prerequisites for the joint debt of the couple have been met. This is her initiative to ask me to invest in the stock market. If I lose, but I can't cry. After saving all the key evidence, I felt more than just happy. It didn't take a long time. In just 1 week, I successfully took on a debt of 20 million. Looking at the white IOUs, my whole body was enjoying it. And I even wanted to shout to the sky, God, please give me some more legal short orders. Although it is a remarriage, the banquet should still be set up. Their family meant that they should just invite relatives and friends who have a good relationship to sit, but I didn't want to. As long as they were related to his family, I secretly invited them all. Not to mention other things, just to say that if there are fewer people coming, I will spend less money. You have to know that the gift money belongs to the common property of the couple. If I don't have a big wedding banquet, what will she do with her earnings? The money for the wedding banquet was also borrowed from a loan, so I naturally tried my best. Good wine and delicious food were served, and half a huazi was arranged on each table. Although this scene made the woman's family confused, they soon flattered their relatives and friends. Your daughter is really lucky. It is said that a girl who is married for the first time is like gold, and a girl who is married for the second time is worthless. But from your looks, you will have to enjoy the same happiness in the future. The mother-in-law's mouth never stopped smiling, and she kept greeting people at the door to take a seat. When most people arrived, the wedding began. After all, it was a second marriage. Although it was still the original couple, it didn't need to be so grand. Even the MC was a temporary card for me, and the hotel manager acted as the MC. There was no extra elaboration and no extra mundane etiquette. The MC chatted for a few words and then handed the microphone to me. Looking at the crowd, I gave my childhood friend a look and suddenly knelt on the ground. I cried so hard that it was deafening and hysterical. The professor of the acting department was so upset that he had to slap his thigh to express that he had missed a proud student. Wife, I was wrong. I have reflected on myself deeply these days. It is my problem. I know you like money and you like men outside. I shouldn't say that to you. I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. I only ask you to take me with you when you go out to play in the future. It's not that I can't accept being cuckolded now. At most, the three of us can play together. The crowd in the audience was instantly dead silent. Lu Ruyan panicked instantly and pushed me desperately, but she couldn't push me at all. She couldn't even grab the microphone, so she could only curse helplessly, Wang Hai, don't ruin me. I cried so hard. At the same time, I hugged her legs even harder and kept her in the center of the stage. The good show is on. What will happen if the protagonist is not there? With a buzz, the big screen on the stage lit up. The video background jumping on the screen was the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau. If I remarry you, who would want your body? I'll give you 3 minutes to think. If you don't meet my conditions, you can go in. Everyone under the stage showed expressions of eating melons. 7 years ago, you were still a teacher. At that time, you smiled and told me that as long as you could live a happy and peaceful life in the future, you would be very satisfied. You first became someone else's mistress and then set up a bureau for me. What's wrong with you? Wang Hai, do you find these interesting? Yes, I am a teacher without a regular position. I am not worthy of you. Is there any problem with wanting more? Why would I become someone else's mistress? It's because you are not motivated and not striving for success. What can I do? What can I do? At this time, more and more people silently took out their mobile phones, or recorded, or shared with relatives and friends. This melon is really wonderful to eat. Then you can keep being a mistress. Didn't I let you go free? He lied to me. The old man said that he would divorce his wife and marry me. In the end, I realized that he was eating soft rice and lied to me for 3 years. 3 years. The scene turned, and the mother-in-law appeared in the video. Remarry. Use the income from the divorce years to buy a house for Ruyan, and keep the income after marriage for Ruyan. You think I'm a sucker? Then I might as well report myself to the police for soliciting prostitution, and your daughter will also call the police, and let the police handle this matter. In order to take full care of the elderly who are a little slow, Wang Xiaohua deliberately paused at the key screen. Wife, please, I don't want to go in. I'll give you all the money. I'll give you all. Lu Ruyan was completely panicked. Her face was as panicked as a street rat. Please, I was wrong. I was wrong. I don't want to hear what she said. My task is to keep her on the stage and expose her to the lights. The whispers in the audience are getting louder and louder, and even many people can be heard cursing. Please, I was wrong. Husband, I apologize to you. Please let me go. Faced with the chaos in the audience and the long distance running like a star conference, she became more and more flustered, and her voice was crying. I suddenly looked up. My eyes were sarcastic, but my tone suddenly became a few degrees sad. What? Not enough. Wife, I was really wrong. No, I asked my parents to go out and sell kidneys. I will give you everything. I don't want to go to jail. No accident. The emotions at the scene were completely aroused. Damn, I see clearly. This man was set up by the woman, and if he doesn't agree to her conditions, he will be sent to prison. It's so disgusting. For such a gold digger, being put in a pig cage in ancient times would be forgiven. Disgusting. It's simply a disgrace to our Lu family. Everyone present is related to her family. Looking at the faces in the audience, each more familiar than the other, her face was as pale as paper, and her body was shaky. It was only because I was kind that I supported her tightly. Damn, if I hadn't sacrificed myself to be a human cushion, how painful it would be for her to fall down. Her family naturally wanted to rush up, but at this time, looking at the murderous aura around them, they dared not move. It can only be said that they couldn't raise their heads in front of their relatives. They were naturally unwilling to accept such a great injustice. When the show was over, they rushed to my house in a hurry. Master, move all these things away, move them all away. Lu Ruyan gnashed her teeth, wishing she could dig the ground 3 feet deep. The mother-in-law was even more livid, saying, We want to get it, right? We will get it for you to see. You are married, and these things are the common property of the couple. The house you bought and your future income will all have to be spit out half. This is the price of your madness. I laughed and clapped my hands. It was you old Indian turtle doves who were thinking of such a trick. The mother-in-law just thought that I couldn't swallow this breath, so I took revenge. Not only will the house and half of the salary belong to us, we will also sue you, accusing you of giving your daughter too little child support. You just wait to be a pauper. Pauper? How do you know I am a pauper? I smiled even more brightly. Since you are so enthusiastic about calculating the common property of the couple, why don't you also calculate the common debts? Lu Ruyan was dumbfounded. What common debts? Hey, why are you so forgetful? I pretended to be unhappy. You encouraged me before. Let me boldly enter the stock market, and let me take out a loan. You forgot. Then, I took out the IOU, which was thicker than a dictionary, and sighed. My husband is too bad. He lost everything at the beginning. But in order for us to live a good life, I had to bite my teeth and take out a loan. I thought I would stop when I woke up. I didn't expect that I would owe so much, about 20 million. My husband is sorry for you. How much? How much? More than 20 million. Lu Ruyan looked stunned. She suddenly took the IOU. The more she looked at it, the worse her face became. This is the money you borrowed. It has nothing to do with me. I laughed. Ah, yes, you quoted classics when talking about the common property of the couple. When it comes to the common debt, you just said lightly, it has nothing to do with you. Is this possible? Lu Ruyan was completely panicked. More than 10 million. I only have a salary of more than 3,000 a month. How can I pay it back? You have more than 10 million. These are all usury. If the interest is compounded, you will probably pay back more than 200,000 a month, which is not much. I kindly reminded her that it is enough for you to find a dozen men to be mistresses. I still recognize your talent in this area. Lu Ruyan was completely desperate. She pulled my trouser legs, crying and trying to impress me with her feelings and her daughter. I pried open her fingers one by one, with a calm expression. I would not offend others unless they offended me. It was you who wanted to harm me first. You can't blame me. As for my daughter, you don't have to worry about it. I will repay everything she said before. Their family went bankrupt, and they only had to pay the interest for the first 3 months. Those who dare to lend money at high interest rates are naturally not simple. Selling hair and taking out second loans are all in their hands. In order to repay the debt better, my ex-wife was forced to wear a sexy uniform and go to a nightclub to massage other people's feet. It should be said that although this industry makes a lot of money, it is far from paying off the money. Even if she pinched it desperately, the 4th month's loan was still a lot short. The lender didn't care about this or that, and immediately took her to the black market. After all, selling blood also makes a lot of money. Then, a little episode happened. Damn, this guy has HIV, you all brought him here. Do you still have any moral bottom line in the industry? Seeing that she couldn't sell her blood, the lender grabbed her and beat her up, and even threatened that if she didn't pay back the money, she would be sold to northern Myanmar as a vase girl. She covered her scarred face and suddenly laughed out loud, like a madman, who put the virus baby in my body.